Very heavy showers in Dunedin this afternoon made for an interesting trip home for motorists, but no major problems so far. Good evening. There are hopes Corso's building in Dunedin may not have to be sold, despite the organisation's retrenchment. Nationally, Corso is trying to recover from a $200,000 debt, and sale of property is one possibility. The Dunedin property at 111 Moray Place was bought 21 years ago and has been maintained by a group of volunteers. The last paid worker left 3 years ago. The Centre City property is now used by community organisations, and Corso's head office is looked at ways to save the building. Corso says the funding crisis is the direct result of a poor response to this year's annual appeal. What do you think about your doctor? That was the question Dunedin women were asked at the weekend, and they had no hesitation in telling the Rape Crisis Centre their opinions, good and bad. Lee Davies reports.
The centre noted about 70 comments, both positive and negative. They concerned 45 Dunedin GPs, gynecologists and obstetricians. The vast majority of callers were happy with their doctors and the treatment they were getting, but there were some who'd had problems.
The negative ones we've got, I think, are serious negatives. And I hope for the women involved that have taken the time to ring us, that they get positive outcomes from what they've said to us and can change doctors. Yeah.
Information collected from the weekend's phone-in will soon be available at the Dunedin Rape Crisis Centre, and the organisers know it might cause them some problems.
We're very aware of the legal implications from the comments made from the Medical Association, but while we're compiling the comments from women about their GPs, we'll also be doing it under the guidance of legal advice.
Similar phone-ins have been done in northern centres, where the book is known as the Hot and Cold Doctor Book.
A prosecution alleging breach of a court suppression order by Television New Zealand started in the District Court in Dunedin today. The case has been brought by the police and relates to the publication on the South Tonight of some details of a court case which had been suppressed. The case involved a Dunedin solicitor. The hearing is expected to finish tomorrow. A major public appeal is being launched in Invercargill tonight for a mammography machine. The $250,000 unit will be used largely for diagnosing breast cancer. It will also become a vital tool if a government-sponsored pilot screening program proposed for this area gets the go-ahead. John McDermott reports.
Life is returning to normal for Invercargill School Principal Elizabeth Larson after what's been a difficult year. Elizabeth's problems began when self-examination led to the discovery of a breast lump. While 4 out of 5 lumps are normally found to be benign, her luck was out, leading eventually to surgery. She believes life then may have been easier had a mammography machine been available in Invercargill.
Yes, I'm quite sure. I've been the sort of person that has tried to be responsible about my health. I've had other tests that are available for women on a regular basis, and I'm quite sure that if this had been readily available, I would have used that service too.
The need for a mammography machine is already a talking point in Southland, thanks to talkbacks like John Husbands on FOVO Radio.
Anne Fowler and Murray Pfeiffer, Dr. Murray Pfeiffer, talking about the mammography machine campaign. Got to raise a lot of money.
The number of people developing breast cancer in Southland is really quite high. It's one of the biggest cancer killers of women in New Zealand.
Overseas programs suggest regular mammography screening reduces breast cancer deaths by around 30%.
If you relate that, say, to Southland figures, it would mean that potentially, at least, 5 or 6 women per year who are currently dying from breast cancer may be saved.
Mammograms are now done on Southland Hospital's conventional X-ray machine. It carries the risk of false negative results and radiation doses. When a mammography machine like Dunedin's is installed, it'll be used for diagnosis of breast lumps and probably for screening of women likely to be at risk, such as sisters or daughters of sufferers. It's also hoped the government will give approval for a pilot screening program in Otago and Southland that will result in free mammography for all 50 to 64-year-old women. The evidence supporting this form of testing is conclusive.
It is now quite beyond doubt that by having regular screening mammograms, breast cancers can be detected at an earlier stage, and that indeed that earlier detection of breast cancer does translate into a lowered mortality or death rate.
The appeal target is $250,000.
We're very, very fortunate in that the women on the committee are made up from lots of organisations right round Southland. Just Seroptimus, Rotary, Inner Wheel, Altruza. There's just so many women, that have come on from these different committees out in the community. So they have committees behind them that will also help raise funds. So we're really optimistic.
Elizabeth Larson has gone public to support Southland's cause. She hopes the day will come when regular mammography testing is available for all New Zealand women.
The weekend brought the first real taste of Christmas to the south with lots of children's activities. Mark Price and crew caught up with motorbikes and trains.
It happens every year, and every year it gets bigger. Motorcycle owners from Dunedin and elsewhere gather at Fairfield with toys for less fortunate children around town. Brightly coloured stuffed toys are a very popular item with the motorcyclists.
Well, two of the men have purchased toys and had to come back for more because they put them on their bed. So they're big kids at heart as well.
The motorcycle run's an annual event organised by the Bikers' Rights Organisation. When it started in Dunedin 15 years ago, 30 motorcyclists took part. This year there must have been 400. Their destination was the Octagon, where the toys were handed over to the North Dunedin Lions Club for distribution. Down at the Ocean Beach Railway, there's a newly restored engine called Millie. It's back on the tracks after 15 years in the shed, and to mark the occasion, the Railway and Locomotive Society held a Thomas the Tank Engine Day. As most children will know, Thomas is a cheeky character who stars in innumerable books and has his own television series. Every story has its drama, and Millie's first outing was no exception. Paint in the injectors was the problem, preventing water getting through to the boiler. But as in every Thomas the Tank Engine story, there's a happy ending. Millie's injectors are cleared, and with some help from Stuart, the little train spent the afternoon carrying scores of happy passengers.
And that's it from us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night.